Okay, welcome to the Node.js Technical Steering Committee for October 3rd, 2018. We'll start out with announcements. So does anybody have any announcements that they'd like to share?
Joey has the announcement about us all participating in the survey.
Right, sorry, go ahead.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to try to find the link to the survey.
It's in the link that she posted.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So that's the announcement, I believe.
And then that goes for all collaborators or people who are planning to be at the Collaborator Summit. It's issue 115 under Node.js/Summit. It has a link to a poll, which is just asking about which sessions you'd like to attend and to try and help in terms of planning and scheduling to avoid overlap and when things should be. So if you fill that out, it will help to make sure that the schedule matches what you're looking for as best as possible. Any other announcements? Okay, let's move on to the agenda then. So first thing on the agenda is number 23-155, which is doc, formalized non-constant reference usage in C++ style guide. Rich has already typed in that it may make sense to defer discussing that until we have Anna, and possibly we should ask Raphael to join as well if we're going to actually discuss it in the meeting. For now, I guess if you haven't read the issue, and it has to do with our C++ coding styles, if you haven't read the issue and gone in and sort of voiced your opinion, that would be a good thing. What do people think in terms of do you think we should continue to discuss in the issue itself, or should we try and schedule maybe in 2 weeks time, invite Raphael and hopefully we'll have Anna as well to discuss?
I believe we can certainly discuss when we have them, but until then, I think we can continue in the issue, right?
Okay, so I'll try. Let's try and remember to give Raphael an invite for 2 weeks from now to discuss that. Okay. The next issues on the agenda are the tracking issue for updating the TSC on board meetings. We don't have Miles, so I don't think we have an update on that front today. Next is strategic initiatives. So let me open that up. Give me 1 sec. Okay, so I'm just going through the list to find the first one where we have somebody, an API. So there's a new release of Node add-on API, if you can help promote that. New release today, the docs now have full coverage, and we're working to get to the same place on test coverage. Doing a little bit of work on that front in terms of code coverage and so forth. In terms of evangelism, there's a talk and a community quarter session at Node plus JS Interactive, so you can help support those as well. And we also have a session in the Collaborator Summit where we're looking to, go into a little bit of the code structure to help people if they're interested in contributing to the ongoing effort there. As well as we're also working on a workshop at NodeConf.eu. Next on the list, OpenSSL. Rod, do you have anything new on that front?
Nothing new, but Shieki, I think, is a bit stretched for time and getting anything done. I think we're going to go into Node 10 LTS without 1.1.1 at this stage. We're just going to have to do an upgrade during LTS. It should be backward compatible. It should be non-breaking. That's the theory behind it. But obviously, it carries a level of risk which is, not a happy thing.
Right.
Yeah, and even if we did get some upgrade code in the next couple of weeks, I'm not even sure that we would be that comfortable shoving it through just before going LTS. So
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, I'd say that we're stuck with having to do it during the LTS.
Okay. Related is Sam Roberts should be back relatively soon, and I think he's going to try and help out on that front as well. So if you have pieces that make sense to sort of portion off, you can think a bit about that as well.
Yeah, I think I'm going to encourage Sheki to try and. I mean, he tends to work really well on his own on these things, but I think there's some specific issues that might need help. There's some stuff about the way we do BIO that are causing problems with 111, and maybe there's some structural stuff that needs doing, and maybe he can get others to help with that. So yeah, I'll encourage him to think about ways to delegate, because I know there's more than a couple of people that could help.
Okay, yeah, and if you just at CC Rom at CC Sam, that would be great. Okay, we don't have workers. Anything new on error messages, Joey? I think Joey might have mentioned that she can't speak, but we'll see if typing.
She says there is an issue about er.name.
Okay. Now, is that something that we need TSC input, or is it just a FYI?
She's trying to find the link.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, we'll loop back to that. Okay, I don't think anybody else. I think we don't have anybody else for any of the other strategic initiatives, so we can move on. Okay, so sorry, Joey has the link, so I'm going to paste that link into the minutes. Okay, it breaks.
And she says it breaks. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess I'm just opening the issue to see if there's anything. And I guess Rich Open was the one who actually opened that one. I guess at this point it's an FYI for people to go take a look, and maybe we can discuss further next time, unless there's something, Joy, you'd like us to talk about specifically today. Okay. So the next issue on the agenda is establishing a communication channel for embargoed communication, number 382. This one I can.
Rich,
sorry, go ahead.
Rich was saying that he says the other issue on the agenda seems more like a committee thing, and we all agree that our current process is adequate. But if ComCom finds something better, then we'll be happy to look at adopting it too.
Right. So
I was just going to say,
go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, I think Raphael was talking not so much about the mechanics as about it being formalized in our governance document that we have such a channel, so that we are not perceived as being in violation of our own policy. I think that's what he.
I think some of the other comments were, though, that kind of stuff isn't in our charter, which is, you know, kept small and lean so that we don't have to go back to the board to change things too often. Okay. So that's not necessarily specifically covered anywhere. And for people who you know, for some context, it's around how to carry out private communications versus, and you know, are there alternatives to using things like email and stuff like that. I, unless anybody has specific thoughts, I kind of agree with Rich in that I don't think we're too unhappy with what we have. And we don't necessarily, my opinion is we don't want to make it too easy because we don't want to necessarily, make it, we want to make it, we don't want to make it the path of least resistance. We want to make things public when at all possible.
Rich is saying that ComCom's charter defaults to open. Ours may too. That's the issue for Raphael, I think.
Okay, so it's that so then if it defaults to open, that's good. So
yeah, that means to me that means it leaves room for closed. So closed is not entirely forbidden. It's just It's just not the default way of doing things.
Right, which is what we want.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of think unless somebody is thinks there's a real problem that the TSC wants to take on to solve there and to sort of champion it, I think, as Rich has suggested, looking at, tracking that issue and seeing if there's a better solution that the ComCom comes up with, maybe we want to adopt that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we don't necessarily need to take any action. I guess what would people's thoughts in terms of leaving it on the agenda or not? Do we need to leave it on the agenda to keep track of it, or can we take it off the agenda and just keep track? I
reckon ComCom will let us know if they come up with something, so we could probably remove it.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense to me too. So let me go do that.
Well, Rich suggests that we leave it on until someone has reviewed our charter. Oh, okay. Now he's saying he's okay with taking it off.
Okay. Yeah, I think once Rod's right. The ComCom will let us know if they make progress on it, and then we can evaluate what we need to do at that point.
Okay, so he's gonna review the charter and talk to Raphael about it.
Yep.
And yes, we can always put it on as can Raphael. That's true.
Sounds good. So let me just take it off for now. Sorry, I got the wrong one. And I'm just going to write a note in it so that we don't forget to discuss. Okay, so that is what we had on the agenda. So if anybody is watching on the, for those watching on the YouTube stream, if you have any questions, we'll give you a few minutes or maybe a minute to add those. Now, if somebody else can look, oh, there we go. Okay, now I can see the comment. There's a couple of comments, but they're more hey and highs. So we'll just wait another 30 seconds or so to see if there's any questions. Okay, I don't see any questions, so I don't think there's any questions for this week. Is there any other business that people want to discuss today? guess the one question that we've been discussing a little bit in the issue is Node plus JS Interactive is next week. It's the meeting would be pretty much in the middle of the keynote, so that I don't think too many people who are there will be able to attend. Some of the discussion is, should we cancel the meeting for next week? I'm just wondering if there's any objections to that.
I'm good with canceling. I've said so much in the issue as well.
Okay, so if anybody, I think it's trending to that's likely what we'll do. If anybody feels we do need to have a meeting and wants to volunteer to chair, that'd be great. But otherwise, that's likely we'll make the decision in another day or so on that front. Okay, so at this point, I guess I will stop the stream.